Hey Pokemon champions, what's going on? It's Darkblaze here. Glad you could make it. And Pokemon, they are amazing creatures. Wonderful, fabulous, cute. They come in all shapes and sizes in the world. And in Pokemon HeartGold and SoulSilver, we were able to bond with them even more because they could actually be with us on the journey outside the Pokeball. They were able to follow us. So, what does this have to do with today's video? Well, as you could probably guess by the title, I truly believe that Pokemon are going to follow us again in the Gen 8 series of the games. I believe that either in the Gen 8 games or the very much anticipated Gen 4 remakes, I think Pokemon are without a doubt going to follow us again, and I'm very excited for this to happen. Now, I'm not one to do theories. I have only done one theory on this channel, which you should totally check out. It's about how old Ash Ketchum is. But the thing is, I really have probable cause and evidence as to why Pokemon will follow us. So if you want to hear more about this theory, then grab some friends, grab some snacks, and let's go. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already to join the Pokemon Champion Squad today, and share this video with a friend so you can discuss whether or not Pokemon will follow us again. So, without any more hesitation and all that being said, let's get into the video. Here is to why I think Pokemon are going to follow us again in the near future.
Pokemon Master! I choose you!
Now, in order to understand why I feel as though Pokemon are going to follow us again, we have to go all the way back in time. Very back to the beginning in Pokemon Yellow. In the Gen 1 games. In Pokemon Yellow, you could have a Pikachu as your starter Pokemon, which you were able to interact with. Pikachu would make different faces depending on how it was feeling, whether it would be angry, sad, happy. It could make different faces and you could interact with it, and Pikachu would love you. Pikachu could even follow you on your journey, and that was the first time that we could bond with a Pokemon further outside of battle or whatever else was going on in the game. But then we didn't see this for 2 generations. We didn't see it in Johto, and we did not see it in Hoenn either. However, this reoccurred again when Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum were released in Gen 4. In these games, we were able to go to the park in Hearthome City where you could walk with certain Pokemon throughout the park. These Pokemon were limited to specifically cute Pokemon such as Togepi, Pichu, Cleffa, and Baneri. However, it was still a way to interact with your Pokemon further, walk with them, gain items, and further your relationship with the Pokemon. And as we all know, the Pokemon Company and Game Freak love to hint at new concepts and ideas that they're going to put into future games. They do it all the time, and this is one of the very first instances that I can remember where they predicted and hinted at something that they were going to do in future games. This was later proven to be true when HeartGold and SoulSilver came out, and we actually got the full-fledged mechanic of Pokemon following us again, not limited to Pikachu or very cute Pokemon, but every Pokemon in the Pokedex, the 493 Pokemon of Gen 4, all of them were able to follow you wherever you went, except for bigger Pokemon that had to go in their Pokeball at certain times. Even so, Pokemon were able to follow us all over the Johto and Kanto regions throughout HeartGold and SoulSilver. The second time that I can clearly recall that Pokemon was hinting at something was in Gen 6 when we were able to ride certain Pokemon to maneuver across the Kalos region, such as with Rhyhorn and with Mamoswine. You were able to ride these 2 Pokemon to get to your next destination in specific parts of the Kalos region. When we got to Gen 7 in Alola, we were introduced to full-fledged ride Pokemon in the forms of surfing on Lapras, riding on Charizard, and even being held by Machamp to move massive boulders. Now you're probably thinking, alright, well what does all of this have to do with Pokemon following us again? Well, the reason I'm bringing up all these past hints, especially with the hints of the Pokemon Park in Hearthome City, is because Pokemon is hinting once again. In Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon more specifically, in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, you are able to interact with a wide variety of different Pokemon throughout the Alola region. region. Many Pokemon in the game had the chance to interact with you, such as more notably in the first area of the game, you could interact with Rockruff, later on you can interact with Pikachu, and many other Pokemon had the same options to interact with you, smile, show their emotions and expressions, and you could bond with these Pokemon. Now this is the same concept that was introduced with Pikachu in Pokemon Yellow, the same thing you could do in the park in Hearthome City in the Sinnoh games. So if this concept is coming back and it means what I think it means, then without a doubt we are going to have Pokemon following us again in Gen 8. Now you're probably thinking, oh, this isn't enough evidence to really say Pokemon will follow us again, it might just be a little in-game mechanic that they thought they would throw in for us. Well, more evidence comes every time you battle Hau. A lot of times that you are battling Hau and you interact with Hau and he comes running in because he's late, he has his starter Pokemon Popplio, later evolving into Brionne, and later evolving into Primarina. It is following him and it's outside of its Pokeball. Now what does that make you think of? What does that remind you of? It reminds you of Pokemon following you in HeartGold and SoulSilver. That was immediately the first thing I thought of when I saw Popplio outside of its Pokeball. At first I was like, what is it doing? Well, now I know that Pokemon is hinting towards Pokemon following us again in the Gen 8 games. And if you need a little bit more evidence comes when you get to the Pokemon League on the top of Mount Lanakila after the Tapu Village. When you get there and you get to the top, you will notice that your Pokeball starts to shake, and then all of a sudden your starter Pokemon will come out of its Pokeball. With me, my Decidueye came out of its Pokeball, and we stared at each other thinking about how far we've come on our journey. To me, this was just amazing because it was really the first time that a Pokeball has been opened on its own by the Pokemon inside, and then you had a nice touching moment between you and your Pokemon. This was absolutely an amazing point in the game. It was so amazing that the creators built this little scene right into the game, and it's things like that that make me appreciate the Pokemon games. But if you need even more further evidence, this same kind of thing happens after you defeat Ghetsis in the Team Rainbow Rocket arc. After defeating Ghetsis, Ghetsis will say these words, that your Pokeballs are shaking furiously and he is a bit scared of it. Pokeball shaking furiously. Whenever that happens, Pokemon come out of their Pokeballs, and Pokemon are known to come out of their Pokeballs on multiple occasions, such as in the second Pokemon movie with Ash's whole team coming out, and with Hawlucha at the Kalos League trying to defend Noivern. This also supports the fact that my Decidueye came out of its Pokeball right before we took on the Alola Pokemon League. Now this may only be a little bit of evidence supporting this theory, but I do believe this evidence is strong enough to support the theory, because with all the other hints and predictions that I gave earlier with Pokemon following us, you had interactions with Pokemon, with Pikachu in Pokemon Yellow and in the Sinnoh games, and then we got Pokemon following us in HeartGold and SoulSilver, and with Ride Pokemon, we got a little taste of that in the X and Y games, and we got full-fledged Pokemon in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, as well as in Sun and Moon. So I believe due to all these interactions you can have with a wide variety, not just certain Pokemon, but a wide variety of different Pokemon throughout the entire Alola region, and the fact that your Pokemon can come out of their Pokeballs on their own in the game, and on top of Hau's starter following him throughout the journey. I think that this is just a huge hint that Pokemon are going to follow us in the Gen 8 games, whether it is the actual Gen 8 games themselves or it is the Gen 4 remakes that are highly anticipated. And one other reason I have as another piece of evidence for this theory is that if you battle Hau and his Pokemon is out of its Pokeball, Hau will throw his arm out, telling his Pokemon to go into battle. This is the same motion that your trainer character will make in the HeartGold and SoulSilver games when you send out the Pokemon that's first in your party. They will throw their arm out telling them to go into battle. So seeing as though Hau does this same motion that was introduced in Gen 4, now it's in Gen 7, and Gen 4 remakes are highly on the way, highly anticipated, there's no doubt in my mind that Gen 8 is going to introduce again Pokemon following us. So this is my theory as to why Pokemon will be following us again in the Gen 8 game. So there we go, Pokemon champions in the making. That is why I believe that Pokemon are definitely going to follow us again in the Gen 8 games, or the highly anticipated Gen 4 remake. Now, I know there wasn't the biggest amount of evidence in the world for this theory as some other theorists do in the Pokemon community, but I do believe that this evidence is strong enough to kind of argue this theory that Pokemon will follow us again. I mean, the evidence is here. I mean, you have all the Pokemon in the Alola region that you can interact with showing their emotions, expressions, and interacting with them and furthering the relationship with them. You can interact with them over and over again, and the fact that you can interact with Pikachu calling back to Pokemon Yellow, I just think that is a great callback and a great reason to believe Pokemon will follow us again. Hal throws his arm out just like the trainers from the HeartGold and SoulSilver games telling his Pokemon to go into battle, and it's not just Poplio that follows Hal. It's eventually Brion, and eventually, still even later, Primarina is following him. So I just honestly think that for all of these reasons, all the reasons listed in this video, I think Pokemon will be following us again in the Gen 8 games or the Gen 4 remake. But I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you agree with these reasons? Do you not agree with these reasons? Am I just making this stuff up? Am I just being too imaginative and creative with this evidence? Let me know down in the comments below how far-fetched this idea is, or if this idea is pretty solid to you guys. Let's start a conversation, and that is all I have for now. So, thanks so much for watching, thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it that thumbs up down below. If you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, be sure to click on that subscribe button down below. It helps out the channel a ton, and it allows you to join the Pokemon Champion Squad today. Also, share this video with one of your friends so they can discuss whether or not they believe themselves if Pokemon will follow us again in the near future. So, champions in the making, that is all I have for today's video. So, I hope you guys continue to train hard, continue to catch a lot of Pokemon, and until the next one, I will catch you guys later.